Hello, franchise community. This is Galen Emanuele. I'm really excited to partner with my friends over at Speak to contribute some content that is helpful and relevant right now. I hope that you find this valuable. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of your people as we all navigate this ever interesting and shifting landscape of business and just trying to be exceptional out here. So I hope you enjoy this. Thank you. As a whole, creating culture in an organization and on a team is incredibly complex. It is a very dynamic, very kind of elusive thing for a lot of organizations and teams because it has so many moving parts in terms of like, how do you actually create it and define it? How do you integrate it? How do you sustain it? How do you keep it going? There's a lot of moving parts. And like I said, it's incredibly complex if you don't have the tools and the resources and understand deeply the science behind it to create it, to create a very simple sort of step-by-step process, which is what we've created and what we're going to be talking about this week for this video. I'm going to be talking about three different things. Number one, the impact and importance of culture for leadership from a leadership position. Number two, the biggest myth around culture. And number three, tactically, actually how to create culture in a step-by-step way that is very simple and very simplified from how complex that it is as a sort of whole picture. The biggest myth around culture is that people actually understand it in a deep, comprehensive way and know how to create it inside a team or organization. And to make a point here, I want to borrow a concept that I love from psychology, which is something called the illusion of explanatory depth, which basically says that we as human beings understand far less about the world in a deep, comprehensive way than we think that we do. There's this illusion that we understand something that we don't. And the simple example of that is a fridge. If you walk down the street and ask 50 people, do you know how a fridge works? Pretty much everybody would be like, yeah, I do. But if you ask them to explain step by step how a fridge actually works, most of them would not be able to actually explain how a fridge works, right? That we think we understand it, but when it comes down to it, we really, really don't. And I think culture is very similar to that. I think if you ask 100 leaders, organizations, how do you actually create culture in a step by step way, that they would not be able to give you a simple step by step process of how do you actually do that and sustain it and create it. Which brings us to our third and final piece, which is how to actually create it in a tangible step-by-step simplified way. And we have created a resource for this. This is the heart of the work that I do with teams and organizations, is how to actually do this process. So we have something called the Strategic Culture Plan. We're going to share it with this video, with this blog, a link to it that you can use and download for free so that you can use it, have these really critical conversations as a team, as a leader. Add this to your toolkit of what you're capable of doing for a team and organization to impact people. And it's so critical. You adding this to your tool belt and what you're able to bring as either an individual leader or as an executive team or organization to your people, and the impact that has on literally every business outcome that you're chasing, whether that is higher performing teams, engagement, higher accountability, higher retention, being able to attract different talent, all the things that impact your bottom line in a great way. Culture has such a huge impact on that. So that's it. And this is something that does belong to you as a leader. Your employees cannot create culture from the ground up. It has to, in order to be effective and actually work and be sustained and effective, it has to come from the top down. It has to, you have the position, right, and the opportunity to hold people accountable to a set of standards, right, that are fantastic. So that's it. Go do it. Go be awesome.